I'm going to begin my talk with a quote from the preparatory document on the Synod. Through every phase of this Synod, the Church wants again to state her desire to encounter, accompany, and care for every young person, without exception. That all young people's lives might be a good experience, that they do not lose themselves in violence or death, and that disappointment does not imprison and alienate them. All of this has to be of great concern to one who has received life, been baptized in the faith, and is aware that these are great gifts. Many young people are experiencing particular hardships which pose difficulties for them in making real choices in life because they have not even the minimal possibility to exercise freedom. I pause now, and I've asked 4 different people to read from prayers that I had asked young people to write on a retreat I recently had this fall.
Creator, I care not about you or what you believe to be right, but I do thank you for this wonderfully amazing life to which you have bestowed upon me. But my life is meaningless in the grand scheme of things, and you should help those who have been hurt by the pastoral disasters of their earth, especially in Puerto Rico, Houston, Florida, and all the other areas that have been affected.
Dear God, I am thankful for everything and everybody you have had walk in my life since my birth, even though sometimes I may feel like you are not listening to my prayers at night or during the day. I still appreciate you till this day. Even though life has been a big struggle for me, I know that I will always have faith in not only you, but also myself. I would like you to watch over my mom and brothers and sisters and my stepdad. I would like you to look over me and help guide me in the right path. Amen. Tara.
Dear Lord, I feel conflicted about your work. While I do greatly appreciate all that you have done for me and all you've given me, I do not appreciate some of the things you have taken, not only from me, but from all those in the world. So Lord, I need you to be kind to all those going through hard times. And Lord, I ask that you spare me from the devil's wicked ways. Braxton.
My greatest friend, I feel very in touch with you right now. Sometimes I feel like I need to say really deep, thoughtful prayers just to be in touch with you. But in this moment, I feel that you are and always will be right next to me, walking with me wherever I go. I want to thank you for being with me through everything. Sometimes I feel as if there's nobody else in this world that I can talk to but you. I pray for those people who don't have a house to go to, for those people who don't have any family to rely on, and for those people who don't have any hope left. Please fill their hearts with joy. Please help me along my path of life so that I may, at all times, do your will. Aram.
Thank you very much. The needs in these prayers are varied. The ages, the home situations, and in the lives of these young people that wrote these prayers are diverse. But there is a commonality. I ask us all in this room the following question. How can we in youth and young adult ministry encourage prayerful discernment with these young people if they face the hardships that strip them of their power to choose? So let's think about that for a minute. We've spent 3 days looking at all of the ways that we can help our young people to choose vocation in the church. So how is it that we reach the furthest, those on the peripheries? I've been working for a long time with a group with the National Federation for Catholic Youth Ministry on marginalized youth. And many times we'd come to the table and it would be such a laundry list of, well, what about this group, this group, this group? So we came with a common definition, and we offer that for right now. marginalized, a form of acute and persistent disadvantage rooted in underlying social inequalities. Different forms of marginalization often intersect, which refers to multiple systems of discrimination operating simultaneously. For example, a young woman from an indigenous population may face discrimination on account of her gender, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status or class. There are numerous population situations of young people that pushes them to the margins. So what I thought, I was going to read a laundry list, but I thought let's just bring it to prayer. And so as I name each category, if we could just respond, Lord, take care of them. Those that are in addiction, youth, and/or family members, Lord, take care of them. Those that are aging out of foster care with no systems of support, Lord, take care of them. Those that are connected to gangs and violence, Lord, take care of them. Those that are involved in domestic violence, Lord, take care of them. Those that are homeless, living on the streets, Lord, take care of them. Those that are involved in human trafficking, Lord, take care of them. Those that are incarcerated, Lord, take care of them. Those that identify as LGBTQ, Lord, take care of them. Those that are locked into poverty, Lord, take care of them. Those that are suffering from mental illness, Lord, take care of them. Those that are suffering from racial cultural discrimination, Lord, take care of them. The refugees, Lord, take care of them. Those involved in self-harm, Lord, take care of them. Those who have suicidal ideation and/or intent, Lord, take care of them. Lord, those that are victims of sexual and/or physical abuse, Lord, take care of them. Many people working with these groups have found a common thread. Many of the young people that are involved in these that are in these populations or involved in these different situations have experienced trauma. And so when we think about, this can be so extremely overwhelming, and when we think about what can the church do, how can the church participate in this, we talk about the idea of trauma-informed care. So many of these young people have experienced trauma. So I'm going to give an example. There's a young man that I've been working with for a very long time, and recently I take a group to Ecuador every year. So I take probably half of the kids are marginalized kids and half are mainstream, is what we'll just call them at this point. And one of the young men reached out to one of the priests and sent him a message to say, I'm out on the street and I'm hungry. And I was unaware, so he contacted me and he said, did you know that Jamal's out on the street? And he's out gave me the streets, so I was like, well, I'm so glad he told me, but it's like, okay, now how do we step into action here? Now Jamal graduated from high school and went to a year of college, and so in my mind, it was kind of like he was good to go. But it turns out that he had experienced trauma early in life, and one of the sheets that went around was about trauma-informed care. It spoke about children, but many times if you experience trauma as a child, it carries with you, of course, right? And so it turns out that I met up with his aunt to find out, give her the information on trauma-based care, because what had happened when he was 5 years old, his mother was killed. But what I discovered when I met with her is that she was experienced, it was her sister who was killed. So she wanted to not just talk about what was going on with him, she wanted to share with me the trauma that she experienced. And so many times it's all that are affected within a family situation of trauma. So one of the things that the church can do, as we'll talk about in the sheet, is that we provide safety, community, spirituality, healing. So when you may leave here after hearing this list and what can we possibly do, we can provide that. And what we find is when we try to work together with counselors, so of course you're going to refer these situations to counseling, but the counselors are looking to us. So it's like a back and forth. So are we setting up the stage to be able to do that? Are we coming together with those that provide these services to offer what the church could possibly offer? So I have been working directly with the group that I've been talking about, the Youth on the Margins, and I didn't bring a binder over. But what we've done is we've developed a process that a diocese, a region, a parish can go through. And basically what we do, okay, is that we look at the pastoral circle, and we start with the story. So that's why today I tried to model that with the brief amount of time that I had, to say, well, let's hear their stories. Okay, so you start with the story, then you move into the analysis. And we've been spending 3 days really analyzing what the problems are, right? And then you move into, well, what does the church tell us? And of course, we have Pope Francis telling us like every single day. Literally, I walk into our building and there's a quote from him, and like every single day he's saying, we need to be doing this, we need to be doing this, we need to be doing this. So what is the church telling us, okay? And then the next step is to really assess and build a coalition, because we're looking at issues that are just very hard for just the church to address. But if we build a coalition of all those that are in our area that work with young people, and we bring everyone to the table, and then we all participate in this. And that's the thing I keep hearing these 3 days, is that we have to be doing this together. Like everything that we're trying to address, and especially in this area, you just cannot do it alone. So I have just a limited amount of these binders, but this is going to be on the website, I shouldn't say eventually, but soon, in a format that can be downloaded. It's already been piloted. This process has been piloted in numerous places across the country, even in Hawaii. And of course, I volunteered, like, well, I'll facilitate the one in Hawaii. But anyway, so it's been piloted, and what we discovered as we started moving it forward, that every area has its unique situation. So when we first began this process, we were thinking, oh, it has to be this, this, and this. We're going to hire speakers and facilitators to just make this process the way we visioned it happen. But what happened when they took it out there, then they even began by talking to the community that formed and saying, what are the issues? What are the hot button issues that we can, and because we have to start somewhere. And so it can be broken down, and you can deal with one issue at a time. I know that they've been working, they did suicide, for example, is the one that they started to handle in in Hawaii, but they're gonna go through and they're gonna, reconvene like 3 times a year and tackle another issue. So right in the binder, there's the paper copy, but also it's going to be online. But you can literally go through it, and you can do a self-assessment of where you are with your parish, and then it even gives you ideas on how to build your coalition, gives you all the paperwork for that. I think, well, let me see. Oh, I'm going to end with another quote. Begin and end with a quote. So consequently, each community is called to be attentive to young people, especially those who are experiencing poverty, marginalization, or exclusion, and lead them to be involved in life. Being close to young people who are living amidst great poverty and hardship, violence, war, disease, disability, and suffering is a special gift of the Spirit, and I can attest to that, and my colleagues are here with me, because for me, it has just been a complete gift. We can truly manifest a proper manner of acting by a church which is going out. The church herself is called to learn. And as we did today, we learned from the young people who wrote those prayers. Many saints among youth give shining testimony to this fact and continue to be an inspiration to everyone. In my work, I continue to see how God is guiding to help all young people to be able to see themselves as valuable members of our church and their communities. Once they see themselves as that, they will continue to view themselves as appropriate for a possible vocational path. Thank you.